Let me just check that everything is good on Facebook and YouTube. Ah, yeah. Okay. We have 3 people on Facebook already watching. Welcome to all the people who just joined us. 3 people on Facebook already watching. On Facebook. Cool. So we wait a few more minutes and then we can get started.
Yes, quite early.
Yeah. Yeah. Another 3 minutes. So welcome all the people who are joining us. So the topic of today is the future of of office of future of work and future of also spaces. And in a very short while, we will get started. So just bear with us 3 more minutes. So I know for especially the people in Berlin, I think in a lot of cities in Germany, the weather is very nice. It's very tempting to go out. But yeah, it's also worth it to stay with us, you know. Yeah, 2 more minutes. Oh, we got one first love like. Thank you. Okay, 1 more minute and then we start. Okay, cool. I think we can start. So welcome, Marisa.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
joining. Yeah. Um, so, hi and welcome to everyone who is joining us. Also, the people who would like to or would watch this video later. Thanks for watching it. So, today we are here to discuss the topic of the future of work and spaces. And we have an amazing guest, Marisa Toldo, founder of the space company like Space Your Place, and also an architect based here in Berlin. So again, thanks Marisa for joining us.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah. So let's start by just getting to know you a little bit more. So if you can tell us a little bit more about yourself, who is Marisa?
Well, I'm an architect and a founder of a Space Your Place. I have more than 20 years of experience in 5 different countries. My brain is like a popcorn machine, always having a lot of ideas, so it's quite crazy. And yeah, I was born and raised in Venezuela. My parents are Italian. I don't look like a Venezuelan at all for that reason. And in 2001, for security reason, I decided to go to Barcelona, Spain. And then I worked there many years. And in 2010, I landed in Berlin.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's I mean, you have really a very interesting story, like from Venezuela, Italian parents. Why Berlin?
Well, never say never. I never thought that I could live in Berlin or in Germany at all. But my best friends moved to Berlin and I came to visit her. I decided to take a sabbatical year and I came to visit her and I love the city. You know, Berlin, you love it or you hate it, but in my case, I love it. And I was lucky because I got the recognition of my diploma here. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, your diploma, like it's from Venezuela or like from Spain?
No, it's from Venezuela. So my architectural degree is from Venezuela. Also, my project management degree is from Venezuela. And here, I got a master also in Barcelona, but
Mhm.
my architectural degree is basically from Venezuela. And I was really lucky to get the paperwork done here. So I'm officially an architect here in Germany.
Okay, that's good. And why architecture? I'm always intrigued by the purpose or like why people choose to do architecture or like interior design in general.
I love it. Our environment shape us and affect how we feel, how we work, how we are. Um, I was lucky to study in a university,
Mhm.
which is World Heritage by UNESCO, and the main architect there always say that the architecture is a social act per itself. The main mission is to solve human facts, and I love that. So it's more like how we can solve human being problems with architecture, and I love space. So it's yeah.
Yeah. So also, just again to like tell all our viewers that the topic of today is like the future of work and spaces. If you have any question about this topic, feel free to just comment on any platform, no matter where you are watching, and we will also take the time to take some of the questions that you ask. So please be very, very, very active and share with us like your questions. It's a very interesting topic. It's really very trending topic, and I believe it's really very important topic that's yeah will definitely influence you and me and other people around us in the very near future if it's not already actually influencing. But we will
Yeah.
get to all this with Marisa. Um, I mean, if you can tell us a little bit about your business, like Space Your Place. How does it work? How does it operate? Like, what does it do?
Well, we started years ago helping people to organize home office spaces. When I started in 2016, I started before helping my friends because I was surprised how people work at home. And in a really organic way, I started to help my friends to organize their own spaces. And during the weekends, it was my side job. And in 2016, I started to look that the numbers were quite appealing because it was increasing the number of people working from home. And then we decided to go there. My friends thought that I was totally crazy because years ago, until last year, it was not super trending. And for me, it was amazing because we spent like 8 hours or 10 hours a day in our work environment. And we should have something that fit our needs, comfortable for us, and it's also nice for us. And well, in 2016, 17, we already got the trademark from Space Your Place, and we start to work quite organically. And last year, when Corona came, we thought how we can help people in a massive way to allow people and to give people tools to organize their own space. And then we start with a series of workshops. And I'm really happy because it works really well. And now we are also helping companies deciding what to do, because the traditional office, I know that it will be hurtful for some people, it's dead. So we really have a great opportunity right now to see where we want to go as companies, as a human being, society, and the world. And we are helping people. We do assessment to the companies in order to give them strategies to organize where they want to go in the future. Now is an excellent time and an opportunity to decide what we want to go. We want to go hybrid, remote, traditional, which is almost dead. But it's not an easy decision for many companies. And I guess now is the moment. So the opportunity today is amazing to decide where we want to go.
Yeah, I think it's very important topic for a lot of professionals, like to just understand what's the future of their work. Are they going to work from home in the future? Are they going to work from the traditional offices? Are they going to be working from a completely new type of spaces? And I think it's really like very important for people to understand that, and maybe even it can impact their future decisions. You know, do they want to stay in Germany? Do they want to live in another country? Do they want to buy a house? Do they want to buy a bigger house, smaller house? So I think definitely the topic that we are discussing right now, and we are like just kind of scratching like the surface of it, it will definitely impact all of us. So all the people who are also watching, this is something that really, I also personally believe will definitely impact you in the very near future and could impact a lot of your decision. So, but I want to like go back a little bit, and you touched this point is like, how did COVID really impact your business? What was the real impact of COVID on your business?
So it sped me up, because before COVID, people told me, yeah, nice, your home office things, yeah, cool, sounds good. But with COVID, it was amazing. What we realized is people doesn't want to be controlling their own space. And for me, it was how we can give tools to the people in order that they can build their own environment in a productive, healthy, and safe way. And COVID was crazy. We also realized that many people, first, it was not a volunteer decision. It was not, I want to go to work from home. It was, you must work from home. And it is not the best way. It should be an option, not a must be. And people have different realities in their own places. And we really need to be careful and empathic, because you never know what happened in their own four walls, and not everyone have their same situation. You cannot compare like a CEO having a huge house with a dedicated room to work. It's a nice way, but you have also people living in a vg and sharing the kitchen table with another 3-4 other people. And they have families working from home with the kids, and it was really a hard year. It has been a hard year. And I used to say, before we decide to leave and work from home, it was an option, but now we have like an all-inclusive schema. So you have your house, your office, your kino, your kindergarten, your restaurant, your gym, everything there, which is not nice because it's too much and it's too long. And the idea was to support people in the best way, give the people the tools in order that they can create their own environment. So when I'm talking about lighting, about acoustic, about what motivates you in your own environment, many people haven't thought about it because we start working from home in a panic modus, and somehow we're still having this panic configuration in our head, and it's not nice. So
Yeah, but like, because I imagine there is still a problem of the education of the market. Like, are people like people were in a panic mode, and there are like tons of priorities. You know, from I imagine people who have children suddenly they need to understand how to even teach their children and support their children, and like other people like started having different other priorities. So. Did you face the challenge that the market is not like is or like people are focusing on other priorities and not this one, even though like if you describe it, it's really very important. But yeah, is it the number one or the number two? So did you face this, and also which kind of customers maybe which like were like easier to work with? I imagine probably rich people. So do you work mostly with rich people? Do you work with?
it's quite funny. The problem is the same, even if you're normally I target companies, because for me the employee should receive the training and the company should pay for them because it's their work space, even though it's at home. But the problem is itself, if you talk with a doctor, professor from the Uni X, and you talk with how do you say, someone who's just doing call center job, which is quite like a telephone. For me, it was amazing because it was the same target. People have a lot of problems having the 3D conception or prioritization, so giving the priority of their task. And what it was really funny for me was when I finished the workshops, they told me we didn't know that so many things were important. We thought that you just put the desk there, the chair, and that's it. And I said, like, no, it will be nice, but no. And yeah, it's amazing. You talk with everyone, and normally people say, well, I just put the desk or the kitchen table and and a chair. And sometimes just changing the place where you sit in the kitchen table change a lot in your head. You know, it's part of what is called environmental architecture or environmental psychologists. And just checking where you want to sit and how change also the perception of the space. And we realize that also when you go for a restaurant, and which are the first place to get busy. So somehow, and this kind of my clients always say, for me, the great part was the reflection we did. Before we didn't have this reflection. I say, and we need it. We really need it, because it's not just about your home office. It's just when you want to go back to the office or work from everywhere. When you realize how space affects you and how you can use it to improve your productivity, it's I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I already since we spoke last time, I learned one tip. So I have a plant here. So that was like one of your tips. So I really keep it in mind. Do you have any, I don't know, like funny story that you can share of how you completely surprised some customer or user, and they were like, with a very small change, let's say they could improve the comfort of working from home, for example?
Well, I will tell you the story how I decided to go for a space or place. I was talking with a friend of mine in Madrid years ago, and I met him from Venezuela. And then he told me, no, I'm working from home. I said, well, put the camera, let me see. And he was working in a place, it was really chaotic. And for me, what is outside is inside. If you have a chaotic working environment, means that you have a lot of chaos in your head. And then I asked him, do you have any hobbies? He said, yeah, I like to bake. I say, well, let's go to the kitchen and see the kitchen. The kitchen was looking like a surgery room, was everything perfect, organized, clean. And I asked him, how many hours per week did you bake? Well, maybe 2 hours. And how many hours per day did you work? Well, at least 8. And say, why, if your working environment looking like a disaster and your hobby is looking nice? So think about it. And he was just shocked just for the question itself. And I say, well, he will hate me forever because, you are putting your finger in the people's intimate space, which is, you really need to be careful. And 3 weeks later, he called me and told me, thank you so much. I just organized the things. I put the things a little bit nicer, as you told me. And now I feel much more comfortable. And this was for me a non-return point. So I say, well, I was scared because I thought he will hate me forever. He was my friend. And I was like, I don't understand. And and these kind of things that people really are enjoying the space where they are is for me the main point. It's really nice. And
How do you see actually, I know like you also stated at the beginning that let's say we will never go back to the traditional way of like just working from one central building. This is where the company office exists, and we just all commute in the morning there and then come back home. So this is something that a lot of companies did not thought this is the norm. This is how an organization works, or like this is how work is done. But then suddenly Corona came and just forced us basically to
speed it up.
Try something else and then question that system. So in your opinion, how do you see the future of the after Corona, if there is an after Corona, or after just the ease, let's say the end of this year or next year? How do you see we will adapt?
Well, for me, 2021 is a great year. It's a year I'm really everyone. Every time I'm talking with someone, I ask for my crystal ball, and they are sold out, so I cannot see in the future. But one thing is sure, we are not go back to the traditional office. First, we work in net. We are all connected, and internet is everywhere. Second, companies did a lot of investment. The ones I call it the traditional ones, they did already a huge investment to go digital. The ones who were not already prepared. Third, people don't want to spend 2 hours per day commuting. And here is one great point, and I guess it's a generational reality. Older generations are more, I will not say older generation, but for example, people who used to work for 20, 30 years in a company, they already are used to this model. Young generations, people who were already born with the cell phone, with internet, found it really absurd that you cannot work from any place. We are talking about, which is a topic that I love to talk about, is trust. To be remote and to be hybrid, you really need to trust your team. And this is for me a key point now, and it's a reality that we really need to care about it. And we'll see what's happening, because many companies are realizing that, and they need to adapt to this solution. And the other reality is what type of company you are. If you are a software company, it's absurd not to work remote having the best of the talent you want all over the world. If you are, for example, a traditional company, it's quite hard. We saw that, for example, many banks are lawyers, tax consultancy, they are more traditional in this approach. And but they even though they start to change right now, you also see who have a huge investment done in the office spaces. People who already invest a lot in their own office space, they need to, demonstrate that they are going to be used. And many people are already renting spaces, so the decision cannot be done until the end. And the other point is, which is also real, not everyone can work from home. And the other point is, many companies decide to have the identity, but this identity, you can have it like in a headquarter and some satellite office, and you can, it's quite complex. What I don't see is this central office and everyone going there. This is, the companies need to be flexible because the investment is done already.
Yeah. So I think I also do agree with you that like now we went certain way, and not a lot of companies will try to go back to the traditional way of doing things. So I imagine that the future will be a hybrid between like working remote, working from home, working from even some completely other location, and also working in the central office. But let's focus on just one scenario, which is like working from home. I mean, how do you see this affecting people's like homes? How should we redesign the space? Because honestly, like if I speak even about myself, previously to this whole Corona crisis, I genuinely like I barely connected with my house, so it's like a place where and I'm a very outgoing person, so I work a lot. So I work a lot, and after work I would hang out with friends and stuff, and home was like, and also ate mostly outside. So home was a place where I am unconscious, it's the place of unconsciousness. And I didn't really connect a lot with it. But like in the future, and I imagine a lot of people would connect more than ever with their place, especially if you work from that place. And especially here in Europe, it's not like in the US or other parts of the world, like the buildings are really like small. The apartments are not like super big. How do you see the spaces, the private spaces evolving in the future?
Well, this is amazing because now it's a lot. It's a lot on the air, on the movement. We talk about 15-minute cities. We talk about many things. We saw after the lockdown that the Speckgürtel, the suburbs areas in Germany, they increased the price. We saw that the city centers from San Francisco, London, New York, Madrid, Munich, the people who could allow themselves to move out with their families, they did. And for me, it's amazing because now we realize how our space impacts ourselves. How it's nice to have your own cave in order to have a nice space. I'm really curious about it. I guess the immobilian is already shifting. Yeah. I was talking with an anthropologist a month ago about that because I asked him, I love anthropologists because they see, they hear, and they do not judge. They are really analytical, but in a really positive way. And I told him, well, what do you think about it? What is your crystal ball saying? Because I really see that we are going more satellite somehow. We really want to go more into, I will not say a nature life, but a more comfort way of living. And then he told me, well, I guess it will be like the first reaction, but the people will go back to the city center and say, well, we'll see. I'm not 100% sure. Because if the big companies are allowing you to work from everywhere, And what you talk about your home is also touching the family environment. It was really hard for many people not be able to be in contact with their loved ones, you know? I have friends in Barcelona. If you think the flats in Germany are small, go to Spain. They're no smaller.
Paris as well.
And I have friends there who were having 2 kids in a really tiny flat without a balcony, and they survived. They haven't killed each other. And for me, it was like, wow, because you were not able to go out at the beginning. Now, yes, but I'm really excited because I think this timeline show us how important are our environments. And to be honest, I'm really excited about this 15 minutes walking cities that is now quite trend, and we'll see what is happening. For example, my German teacher, he told me I will not go back to Berlin. I don't want to go back to the city center. Another friend of mine, a German one, he told me, no, I left Berlin. I don't want to go back. And for me, it was quite surprising because for me, Berlin is a really green city. And, you know, you have a space. It's not like it's not like Manhattan, but you have really limited space. But a lot is going. And I guess we are going to see how the peripheria are going to, the suburbs are going to be more appealing. And we'll see. I was talking also with some co-worker owners to ask them how they see the future. And they told me that they are thinking to have some investment in the suburbs also, which says something about the business.
Yeah, that's interesting when you are talking about the immobilian like market. But let's say if we focus, because our solution is like for furniture.
Yeah.
So focusing on furniture, and I'm really interested in also like learning more from you. How do you see it from a furniture perspective? And I can give you like a really simple example. Again, like as a developer, like a lot of developers are very used to this kind of Silicon Valley, Google style furniture at work, you know, where you have like this cool spaces where you can probably like sit on sit on the ground, or like you have certain type of furniture, and you have also, it comes also with certain playground also in offices. I worked in the innovation center of SAP in Potsdam, and it was just like really super amazing. We had like a lot of kicker table, we had the PlayStation, same here at Factory Berlin, you know, there is a playground, and it's kind of really of the culture of startups and tech companies to have an area like that. When you are working from home, and I imagine like different jobs have different, let's say, interior design, different furniture that they are just very used to, and they associate that with work. Now, if you go back home, it's a different style. And also, it's not only a different style, you also sometimes have different people living in the same house, and different personalities, different expected styles, in, again, a very limited space. How can we fit everything, all the personalities, all the jobs, all the whatever, you know, if you have like kids and stuff, in the same space that probably was not even fitting just the previous functionality, you know?
Well, first you will apply this say that less is more.
Yeah.
Less space. I always say less space. For me, in my head came the Tetris. You know Tetris, this game that you really need to. If you have a small space, you really need to be the king of the Tetris, because you really need to be smart about how to use your space. I always say to my client, if you have a big house, peanuts, you know, because you put everything, it's not a main of a space. If you have a small space, you really need to be clever. What do you use the most? What is important for you, but why? So what are your priorities? Is your priorities your family, your work, how many equipment do you have when you work at home? Some people just work with a laptop, which is okay if you just work for hours, but some other people need two screens, for example, depending on the work they do. And more equipment means more space, you know? The other part will be the legal part, but we just take out the legal because it's too German, so we keep it friendly. Create a space you enjoy. What is your priority? You can use your furniture in different ways. For example, the kitchen table normally it's a little bit lower, and they have on the top some pieces that doesn't allow like an office desk to be into. But maybe you will have a nice chair that doesn't have like the arms, or you have a nice chair that doesn't look too office. So you have some manufacturers that they really do a nice chairs, or some people go more for the ergonomic things, or but for me it's make a list. What are your priorities, and how you can use the space not just on the ground floor but also on the walls. You really need to have 3D Tetris mentality to use that. You maybe can use some shelves that you can improve your space with some modular things. You have a nice manufacturers that they do that. And the other point is play with your space, because sometimes if you locate some furniture that way, it will appear something, but if you change, the perception of the space is different, or you feel it more, the perception is bigger or is more practical. Some people are like more minimalistic, because this is it's about really a taste. You go to some houses and people love to have a lot of things, or a lot of plants, or a lot of, I don't know. For other people that they have kids and they cannot too much out, it will be important to have like a place where the kids can play. But if you want to work from home, depends on the space you have. You really need to be clever. For example, if you have two screens, you need to have a desk which is a little bit brighter in order to have the distance. So you cannot have like a 24-inch screen and have it here. You know, you need at least 80 centimeters, and to have 80 centimeters means you need to have a desk with a deep, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, from your experience, especially during this COVID pandemic, you have worked with a bunch of people on basically helping them better design their spaces. What are the top, I don't know, 2 or 3 problems that you have seen again and again and again?
To be honest, sometimes I feel more like a therapist than an architect. No, it's really, I feel honored and also grateful to be able to get in touch with many people. We really need to be empathic. I remember a client, she called me for the Zoom background because she do a lot of blogs and everything. I had 2 really funny stories. One, she have a kid, and she say everything is a mess, and I get this moment and I need to do my videos, and I don't know where to locate myself because the floor is a mess. I say, well, stand up and get a spot in front of the window with a nice back, and do that standing, because you really need to be practical. So we organize a corner, but I give people the tips so the people do it themselves, which is for me the most important thing, that you are really aware of what you are doing. And she was really happy because I told her, well, with this configuration, even if you have a chaos on the floor with the things of your kid, no one will see, which was for her really stressful. You know, it was not the disaster itself, but it was the people looking the disaster. So and it was like, well, we get a nice natural light, and this kind of things that you think that, well. And another client, she asked me about the the color of the background, because she wanted to have a really dark color. And I told her, the funny part was she asked me, what do you think about it? I say, it's not what I think, it's about how do you feel there. Can you handle 8-10 hours per day a gray wall, facing that wall every day? And she said, no. I say, well, that's it.
Yeah. I also would love to hear from the people that are watching us, also the people who would watch this video, to just write in the comments what are the main problems and concerns that you are facing, like especially when you are working from home.
Well, another point that I just got in my head is many companies deliver the office chairs to people's houses, but people have no space to have a desk. So they were working on the kitchen table, but the chair were not fitting because of the arms of the chair, which was a main problem and a reality that maybe that many companies just deliver the chair and they don't thought about it. And so they were not working ergonomically as they should somehow. And the chair was huge. So it was the chair in the living room, which sometimes is not so nice.
Yeah. And this is when augmented reality helps. And this is when Xibit can help, seeing before you buy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm also like really interested, like I asked you about the users, but I also want to ask, like, again, focusing on this interior design and furniture on the other part of the equation, like furniture companies. What kind of future do you see for the furniture? What kind of furniture do you think we will need more and more? What kind of furniture have you probably recommended to people?
Well, when I recommended something, I first called the provider and asked them, are you ecological? How's your manufacture process? How's your packaging process? Who is involved in the production system? If you are working from other countries, can you prove that you don't have slavery work behind? The materials you are using are going to be easy to recycle. Are modular, so I guess in the future we are going to work more in module basis, which is somehow easy to apply and to organize. But for me, it's also how we can improve the quality of the planet as producer. Once you produce your furniture, how much CO2 are you using? Can you recycle this material? Can you upcycle this material? Are you thinking about ergonomics also? Because I guess we are going to, I'm quite fan of ergonomic, I guess, for my back pain, which is also a pain point here. But materials, process, and who are involved in the process, and the design should be beautiful. But when I say the design should be beautiful, beauty is such a cultural thing here that, it's it is quite funny, because sometimes you see a couple and one say, I love it, and the other say, I hate it. And I guess your app is great because you see it in the place. And I love that because allowed you to see it on the place. The other point, for example, is many clients say, I just bought it. I say, well, did you measure the thing before? No, it was looking beautiful on the website or on the shop, and I bought it, and now it's not fitting. I say, well, and this is what I really like your app, because allows people to see the thing in 3D there, which is great. Before the furniture came, you say, it's not fitting.
Yeah. Cool. Let me just actually check if there are some questions. I think it's better to check on my phone. If there are some questions from people who are actually watching us. There are actually a lot of likes, but questions, I think we still didn't get any questions so far.
We have no dummy question. Feel free to ask, because what I realize also always, many people are like afraid to ask because they feel dummy. We have no dummy question. All questions are more than welcome.
Yeah.
And this is such a I always say you need to see mental mapping. You need to see what is in the people's head, because I realize that people are really afraid to ask. Just ask.
Yeah.
It's not right or wrong. It's a two brains and four eyes thinks better than just two. And it's also, for me, it's also allow people to play, and I found the app really nice because allows you to play. I realize always about the afraid of asking. People always say, well, maybe it will be wrong or right. Putting the things here, say, let's play. Just take out this right or wrong out of your head and allow yourself to play around in the space. You will first, you will have fun, and second, you maybe will discover a organization that you never thought before and is working. And what I like of the app, that you are like to drag and drop things and to see, but in a really playful way. When you have this playful thinking in your head, your chemicalian in your head are different of this right or wrong. It's more like joyful, and you will discover many nice things.
Yeah. Actually, we have just released today new version, so it's even more playful because we added like this hovering. So when you select the objects like playing like this, I think this, this one you will just love it. I know you, and I know that you will really love this one.
Yeah, because I realize that sometimes if you are living alone, you get bored because you don't know how to decide. But if you're living with someone else or with a group of people, it's a pain point, because we are talking about territories, and then it's quite a sensitive thema here. And doing that in a playful way, it's great, because take out somehow the drama of the and allowed you to play and to discover new way of thing without carrying the furniture itself or moving a lot at home. It's just with the app, and I found it really, I love it. So really nice.
Yeah. Cool. So maybe then I'm pretty sure like there will be a lot of questions once we publish the video. So the video will be published on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, as well as on LinkedIn. Feel free to watch it again there, and also for the people watching it for the first time, please feel free to comment. We will read your comments even after a while. It's very important, and it's also very good to see your perspective and also the problems that you have working from home, or like also what you think about the future of work and also the future of spaces. I think it's really very interesting to learn your thoughts about it. Maybe Marisa, like if you have any last word, like a book that you would recommend, or like any tips that you would recommend, or just any wise words that you want to say.
First, enjoy the space where you are. I love biophilic design. I know it's a topic that we should care. So if you want to check biophilic design, is also nice. And talk about it. Now is the moment to make your point about the office space. What do you want? Because it's a lot of talking out there, but we really need to ask the people what they want. This was a really hard year. Be patient and empathic with yourself, and have fun in your space. Try to when you open the door, make like, I'm home. This is for me the main point, that you are in your own palace, even though there are like 3 square meters, but you feel home. Buy a furniture you like, but measure that before you use the app, so to avoid to buy the huge furniture in a small place. And enjoy the space. It's really nice, and this app allowed you to play and to see things in space, which is really nice. And well, read also about biophilic design, because you will see how nice it is to have such of plants or another setup of environment. Yeah. And feel free to ask me anything. So
yeah. So how can people reach out to you? Where can they find you?
LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know, everywhere.
Okay, so check Marisa Toldo everywhere. I will add like also the links to the description when I share the videos, to the website of her company, but also to your LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all the links. So feel free to choose your favorite platform to reach out to her. Thanks a lot, Marisa. I'm pretty sure we will have you again to dive deep in one aspect of the future of work and spaces. As I said, we just kind of scratched the surface, but it's a huge topic, you know. But yeah, thanks to all the people who joined us today, and also to the people who are watching this video at some point in the future. Yeah, have fun and enjoy.
Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thank you.
Yeah. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.